Hey everybody, it's Doc Green, the Road Scholar. I'm about to go over an overview of the course I've just created for truck drivers in the trucking business. If you either a lease owner, operator, or a lease purchase person, or you own your own truck, either way, and you need to create a business, then I understand there's not a whole lot of information out here, and this course is to help you get started on that path. It's going to help you not only register your business to protect your liabilities, it's going to help you build and restore your business credit if you need it. So here we go. Overview of the course. We're going to be going over business entities, the pros and cons of each. We're going to be going over choosing a business entity, how to register your business, applying for an EIN number, opening a business bank account, obtaining a virtual office address or virtual office space, and I'll explain why you need that later. That goes into building your business credit. Obtaining a Dun and Bradstreet number, and building your business credit. So we're going to go to all of those little topics. I'm going to have some slideshow presentations. Now, in the slideshows, I know they're kind of going to sound kind of boring. They're on my computer, and I had to be kind of monotone while I was doing them. The reason is because my computer is set up the way my mic is set up and everything. If I spoke too loudly or too animated or anything, it would peak out and it would get distorted. So I had to stay within a certain range on my voice level. But anyway, guys, here's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope this helps you out. Please, if you have any questions, put them in the comment section below. You can email me at docgreen@docgives.com, and we'll try to work on it, improving anything or answering any questions that you have. Now, let's get on to the first part of the course, which is going to be about business entities, the pros and cons. First, let me say there are a lot of business types out here. You can start off with a sole proprietorship, general partnership, limited partnership, limited liability company (LLC), sole S corp, C corp, and a nonprofit. Now, out of all of these, yes, you could open up into any of them. Why anyone would want to have a nonprofit trucking company? So I'm not really going to discuss it. I'm going to discuss the ones that are most relevant to us, which are the corporations, sole proprietorships, partnerships, and limited liability company. And I'm going to explain the pros and cons of each of those. I'm going to go over them on the slide presentation so you can kind of get a better understanding. And some people are better at reading and listening at the same time. And hopefully this helps. So let's get started into that now. And off to the slideshow. Okay, guys, we're fixing to go over the most common business entities for drivers. This will be a sole proprietorship, general partnership, limited partnership, limited liability corporations, S corporations, and C corporations. A sole proprietorship is the simplest business entity with one person as the sole owner and operator of the business. If you launch a new business and are the only operator, then you are automatically a sole proprietor in the eyes of the law. Also, certain states, a husband and wife can be considered a sole proprietor. It is automatically recognized if you form any type of business that you're doing. Okay, a sole proprietorship, pros and cons. The pros are it's easy to start up. You don't need to register. You can register with the state, but you don't need to. You can go down to your county courthouse and register as a DBA. There are no corporate formalities or paperwork requirements such as meetings, minutes, bylaws, etc. You can deduct most business losses on your personal tax returns. All you got to do is tax filing is very easy. Just fill out Schedule C, profit or loss from your business. Okay, here are the sole proprietorship cons. As the only owner of the business, you are personally liable for all business debts and liabilities. Someone who wins a lawsuit against you or your business, they can sue either. If they win a lawsuit against you, they can sue you for part of your business. If they win a lawsuit against your business, they can sue you for your personal assets. There is no separation between you and the business, making it harder to obtain business loans and raise money. It's harder to build business credit without a registered business entity. These are only a few of the cons. Okay, next on the list is general partnership. Partnerships share a lot of similarities with sole proprietorships. The key difference is that the business has two or more owners. There are two kinds of partnerships, general partnerships and limited partnerships. In general partnerships, all partners actively manage the business and share in the profits and losses. And like a sole proprietorship and a general partnership, both owners or both partners or all partners would be liable and held liable for court cases, lawsuits, and debts. However, there is no reason to register a general partnership with the state. Now, general partnership, pros and cons. First, we'll go over the pros. They're easy to start up. No need to register your business with the state, as I said before. No corporate formalities or paperwork requirements such as meeting minutes, bylaws, etc., same as a sole proprietorship. You don't need to absorb all the business losses on your own because the partners divide the profits and losses. Uh, Owners can deduct most business losses on their personal tax returns. Those are the pros. Now for the cons. Each owner is personally liable for the business debts of the other liabilities. In some states, each partner may be personally liable for another partner's negligence, actions, or behavior. This is called joint and several liability. Disputes among partners can unravel the business through drafting a solid partnership agreement that can help avoid that. It's more difficult to get a business loan, land a big client, and build big business credit without a registered business entity. So even though you don't have to register as a partnership, you might want to. Okay, here's limited partnership. Unlike general partnership, a limited partnership is a registered business entity. It has to be registered with the state. To form a limited partnership, you must file the paperwork with the state. In an LP, limited partnership, there are two kinds of partners. Those who operate and assume liability for the business, which are called general partners, and those who act only as investors, limited partners, sometimes called silent partners. Limited partners don't have control over business operations and have fewer liabilities. They typically act as investors in the business and also pay fewer taxes because they have more tangible or tangential role in the company. Okay, the pros of a limited partnership. A limited partnership is a good option for raising money because investors can serve as limited partners without having personal liability. General partners get the money they need to operate but maintain authority over the business operations. Limited partners can leave any time without dissolving the business partnership. Okay, some of the cons of a limited partnership. General partners are personally responsible for the business debts and liabilities. More expensive to create than a general partnership and requires a state filing. Limited partners may also face personal liability if they inadvertently take to an active role in the business. So in other words, just because you started off as a silent partner, if you begin to take a role in the business and start acting as a partner, then you can become liable. Okay, here's one I did. A limited liability company. A limited liability takes positive features from each of the other business entity types. Like corporations, LLCs offer limited liability protections, but they have fewer paperwork and ongoing requirements, and in that sense, they're more like a sole proprietorship and partnership. Another big benefit is that you can choose how you want the IRS to tax you at LLC. You can elect to have the IRS treat you as a corporation or as a pass-through entity on your personal taxes. But keep in mind, the more the separation that you have between you and your business, the better it is in a legal standpoint. So I chose to do mine as a corporation. Okay, some of the pros of it having an LLC: owners don't have personal liability for the business debts or liabilities. Now that is a kind of a jump. You must separate your business and your LLC from your personal accounts. In other words, you can't use your LLC bank account to pay your personal bills. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure your account is funded and your business can fund itself. And you want to make sure that you treat your business as its own entity and you as your own entity. Otherwise, you can still be held liable. Number two, you can choose whether you want your LLC to be taxed as a partnership or as a corporation. And number three, not as many corporate formalities compared to an S Corp or C Corp. Okay, limited liability company cons. It is more expensive to create an LLC than a sole proprietorship or partnership, and it does require registration with the state. There are some other cons. To be honest with you guys, if you're going to form an LLC, you've got to remember, got to remember to keep your business separate from your personal account. Don't be taking your credit card out from your business account and going and paying your utility bills from your home. Don't use your personal account to be paying for oil changes and things on your truck. You got to keep those two accounts separate. You want your LLC to cut you a check, but otherwise, it's no use to forming an LLC really, because the courts will still find you personally liable if you start intermingling your personal and the business. Okay, an S corporation. An S corporation preserves the limited liability that comes with a C corporation, but is a pass-through entity for your tax purposes. This means that similar to a sole proprietorship partnership, An S corp profits and losses pass through to the owner's personal tax returns. There's no corporate level taxation for an S corporation. Okay, the pros of having an S corporation. Owners, shareholders, don't have personal liability for the business's debts and liabilities. No corporate taxation and no double taxation. An S corp is like a pass-through entity, so the government taxes it much like it does a sole proprietorship or partnership. However, remember, if you are the manager of that S corporation, you can still be held liable. All right, here's some of the cons of having an S corporation. Like a C corporation, S corporation is more expensive to create than both the sole proprietorship and the partnership, and it does require registration with the state. There are more limits on issuing stock in S corporations than there are in C corporations, and you still need to comply with corporate formalities. You still have to create bylaws, hold board meetings, and shareholder meetings. C corporation is a legal, independent entity that exists separately from the company's owners. Shareholders, the owners, a board of directors, officers have control of the corporation. Though one person in a C corporation can fulfill all of these roles, so it is possible to create a C corporation with you in charge of everything. With this type of business entity, there are many more regulations and tax laws that the company must comply with. Methods for incorporating fees and required forms may vary by state, so make sure you check with your state. Some of the pros of having a C corporation: owners and shareholders don't have a personal liability for the business debts or liabilities. C corporations are eligible for more tax deductions than any other type of business. C corporation owners pay lower self-employment taxes. You have the ability to offer stock options, which can help you raise money in the future. Cons of it: more expensive to create than a sole proprietorship and partnership. Filing fees range from $100 to $500 based on what state you're in, and I've seen them even go higher than that. C corporations face double taxation. The company pays taxes on the corporate tax return, and then shareholders pay tax on dividends in their personal tax returns. Owners cannot deduct business losses on their personal tax return. There are a lot of formalities that corporations must meet, such as holding board meetings and shareholder meetings, keeping meeting minutes, and creating bylaws.